The educated French nobility of the 16th century had a fascination with creating anagrams, transforming one or two words into entirely different phrases by rearranging their letters. Mastery in this art was considered to be when the new phrase somehow fit the original, reflecting its qualities. King Charles IX of France excelled in this skill, and his anagram of Marie Touchet's name, Je charme tout, or I enchant all, has endured through the ages. So, who was Marie Touchet, that the king himself would bestow upon her such an affectionate nickname? She was the humble daughter of a lieutenant born in Orleans in the middle of the 16th century. Her parents would have been pleased if Marie had married a gentleman of modest means. The girl was unanimously regarded as sweet and charming, but given her background, she could not hope for more. However, fate had an intriguing way of shuffling events. One day, the French court was traveling across the country. Catherine de' Medici, the Queen Mother, and her son, Charles IX, were inspecting their lands, something rulers often did. Stopping at the Château de Blois, they decided to go hunting. The young king, a great enthusiast of this pastime, had a particularly successful day. Charles was in excellent spirits when, on his way back to the castle, he happened to notice a girl near the church. This is the version of events presented by historian Émile Gabory. According to another account, the king met Marie at a ball in Blois, but a year later. The stories differ, but the outcome is the same. Charles immediately developed a strong and genuine affection for Marie. This man, often accused of being coarse and harsh, turned out to be quite the gallant gentleman. Their mutual attraction quickly led to secret meetings. Everything was conducted quietly, with only a handful of people in the know. The king feared that his mother would discover his beloved. By protecting their secret, he was primarily safeguarding Marie. After all, who knew how that Florentine would react? And he was right. Catherine de' Medici soon learned about Mademoiselle Touchet and sternly ordered her son to send her away. To where? It didn't matter. The main thing was to get her far from the court. Thus, Marie, already pregnant, was taken to the lands of the Duke of Savoy, where she gave birth to a son. Unfortunately, the child did not survive, likely due to the rough journey. Meanwhile, Charles, desperately longing for her, defied his mother's orders and arranged for a house for Marie in Paris. Eventually, Mademoiselle Touchet settled once again near the king. It's unlikely that Catherine de' Medici could keep such a turn of events in Marie's life hidden for long, but the Queen Mother ultimately shrugged it off. This little commoner with her round face bore no resemblance to the ambitious favorites who had once poisoned Catherine's life. In truth, Marie Touchet was content with her modest role as the king's secret lover, while Charles appeared remarkably happy with his life. Spending his evenings with his dear Marie, he came up with that very anagram of her name, Marie Touchet Je charme tout. I enchant all. When the time came for the king to marry, he grew anxious. Duty to his country was important, but matters of the heart are not so easily commanded. For several months, he kept his impending marriage a secret from his beloved. However, when rumors reached Mademoiselle Touchet, she remained calm and simply asked to see a portrait of the bride-to-be, Princess Elizabeth of Austria. After carefully examining it, she remarked, "What a beautiful girl! I hope, Your Majesty, that you will be happy with her." Charles immediately reassured Marie that she was the only one for him, and that his marriage was merely a political arrangement, nothing more. Elizabeth of Austria, who would soon become the French queen, could not truly compete with Marie. Brantome described their relationship as a union of water and fire, alluding to the girl's haughty coldness and the king's natural warmth. There were also other barriers. The couple literally struggled to understand each other. Elizabeth did not speak French and never managed to learn it during her reign, while her husband did not speak German. Their conversations were conducted in Spanish. It's worth noting that despite her outward reserve, the young queen grew to love her husband. Sensing the presence of a rival, she was deeply troubled. Her mother-in-law advised her to forget it all. After all, the throne belonged to Elizabeth. As for Touchet, Today it was her, tomorrow someone else. Here, the Florentine was mistaken. In the king's heart, only Marie Touchet reigned. She had no rivals. A few years later, in the Château de Fay, she gave birth to a son by Charles IX. The boy was also named Charles and would later take the surname Valovernia, eventually becoming the Duke of Angoulême. Marie was happy. Unfortunately, it was short-lived. The king passed away just a year later. Marie Touchet's care was taken up by two people, Queen Marguerite of Navarre and the new monarch, Henry III. The king-uncle looked after his illegitimate nephew until his death, and Charles of Angoulême was by Henry's side during the fateful assassination attempt. Biographers of Henry IV assert that shortly before his demise, Henry III entrusted his future successor with the care of Charles, as he was the last of the Valois line. The one who had enchanted everyone, 4 years after the death of her beloved, married François de Balzac, the governor of Orleans. In her marriage, she had 2 very beautiful daughters, who, ironically, would also become royal favorites, Marie Charlotte and Catherine Henriette de Verneuil. Both girls captivated Henry IV, and he even promised to marry one of them. The modest and unassuming Marie remained on the sidelines of the turbulent events of that era. She did not get involved in the conspiracy that led to her daughter's confinement in a convent or her son's 11-year imprisonment in the Bastille. Instead, she continued to live in Paris, helping her growing grandchildren. The beloved of Charles IX passed away at a ripe old age. Her romantic image inspired many poets and artists. It is clear that the French king did not err with his anagram. Centuries later, Marie Touchet still enchants all.